Okay, here we go on a nice carnivore breakfast. And I'll show you how simple that this can actually be. We're going to start off with a good dose of this avocado oil. Avocado oil, just give a little quick wipe down so that it doesn't stick to the iron. And that stuff can go up high temperature. I have got both these burners set on number 5, 50% output, which is pretty hot. And the key with cooking with iron is it's always a good idea to let it heat soak for a little while. So I've had this on for a couple of days now, heating up. And we're going to go ahead and cook this steak for my wife. She is a carnivore woman. She loves to eat steak. And steak is what carnivores are all about. She can eat some ground meat, but every now and then, after she works real hard building me a shop and a man cave and all the things she's doing, she gets this beautiful thick ribeye. Look at that beautiful thing, that ribeye. No pepper. She don't want any pepper, just salt. Any specks of pepper that came from my cooking board are gone. And we're going to start it off about right there. Now, the key when you are cooking steak, you do not have to go out into the yard and build a great big bonfire in your barbecue grill. You can easily take a piece of Lodge cast iron with the ribs on it like that. It's kind of like its own grills on the steak. We're having that to be able to make some nice, beautiful marks on this steak. I'm adding a little bit more of our pink salt. That's from Himalaya. They get that from the mountains. They dig it up. They've got some girls that go up there that are carnivore girls. They don't eat tofu. They only eat steak. And they go up there with pickaxes and shovels and grinders, and they get that pink Himalayan virgin salt. Never been around any human beings. They go up there and harvest that so you can cook these special steaks like this. So we're going to let that cook. Like I say, we've got the burners. You can't see them, but take my word for it. This one is on number 5 and number 5. So we're preheating this real good. And we are cooking that steak at about 3 minutes per side. So I'm going to mess around with our time machine a little bit. We'll do some compression through editing so that you won't have to watch the full 3 minutes. But still, the results will not change. So what else do you have to have? Well, just salt and one other feature that she really loves, and that is some butter. So now we've got some butter. Now, the key with using butter, I'm just using plain butter today, is you cannot put the butter on that smoking hot iron right there, because all it's going to do is turn into a gross brown substance that will not taste good. This kind of oil right here can take 500 degrees of temperature without smoking up real bad, and butter is good for about half that in temperature. Once you get up above 250, up above the boiling point of water at 212, that butter, the water in the butter will begin to boil, and it'll turn brown on you in a hurry and be ugly and taste bad. So these are tricks that you need to learn. You're here at the Good Carnivore channel. Good time to learn these tricks. So we have made it through our 3 minutes on that steak, and where you don't fuss with these steaks. When you have a beautiful ribeye like that, now listen, this is with carnivore. Carnivore people don't sit around eating tofu and vegetables. They don't sit around eating broccoli or spinach. Spinach will give you kidney stones in a hurry. It's got some chemicals in there that are guaranteed to give you kidney stones. You cannot pick up the iron like you think. Popeye used to beat Bluto up because he ate cans of spinach. He managed to carry them around in his sailor suit. I was a sailor for years, and I never did find a place in my dungarees or in my Cracker Jack uniform that would allow me to hide a can of spinach. But that spinach will give you kidney stones. And I've had them twice in my life and do not care to ever have another. So you don't want to mess with that steak too much. Just let it lay, let it lay, let it lay for 3 minutes. Now we're going to turn it over. Look at that beautiful steak. And you try to go 90 degrees. We're going to end up trying to cut her some crosshatch on there. We want to make it look like it's a cattle panel on a smaller scale. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of salt to that. She likes some salt. I'm going to show you another trick. Next time, before we turn it, we're going to do another little trick. We're going to set this thing up on its edge, because carnivore people are not scared of fat. Fat does not stop up your heart like they thought for years. What stops up your heart is eating ding-dongs and ho-hos and donuts and bread and French fries cooked in oil that your body has no clue what it is. That's what destroys your heart. The fat from the steak that we're eating today is very good for your brain, good for your skin, excellent for your hair, your blood vessels, gives them elasticity, and if it raises your cholesterol a little bit, it is in a good way that it goes about it. So look at what Dr. Ken Berry has and Dr. Baker, what they have to say about eating meat. There are several doctors now that are true cardiologist men. I'm talking about people that open folks up on a table every week of their life, and they are for the carnivore diet. They believe in eating lots of meat and some cheese and some dairy if your body can tolerate the dairy, lots and lots of butter, bone broth, things that come from an animal. So that's made the 3 minutes. Now here's the next thing we're going to do. This is my little trick for my wife. She likes that fat, but look here. We're going to put that, you may or may not see this on the film. I put that up on its side, and now that it's on its side, it's just resting on the side of the pan. And that's going to brown that fat, make it nice and crispy. Crispy brown fat. I'm going to go ahead and turn this front one down. I'm going to turn him down to number 2, because he's going to need some butter pretty soon. And we're going to turn our steak off to that side, turn it up on its end to brown the fat on the end there. Make a mess on my stove, but that's okay. That's a good clean stove. It can handle it. That steak is trying to jump, so I'm having to give it a little assistance here. Okay, we're going to call that good enough. Now notice which way our stripes run. They're running right and left or up and down, and it depends on which way you're standing. You might be on your head. We're going to put it just like that. That way it will make it where it makes the crosshatch pattern that I'm looking for. And I'm going to go ahead and ramp that Lodge griddle type thing up to number 7. It is a frying pan, but it's also got those griddle marks or grill marks, and I like that. That makes it beautiful when you serve the steak. Here goes a piece of butter. This is a good test. We'll see if that just tries to burn up. If it does, we can always move that little iron cow off that. It looks like it is pretty hot. This will cool it down some. We'll keep cooling. That's a lot of heat though. Yep, that is almost too hot. So here's what we'll do. We'll back that out of the equation, put him over here, give him a timeout for misbehaving. So he got a timeout. Taking care of the butter. So you got to see me do it right here. Taking care of that butter. I had already turned it down, but it had heat soaked because I've had that sitting there for 2 days trying to get preheated, make sure that I could cook the perfect steak for my wife. Carnivore diet, that is the way to go. She is losing weight. She's feeling better. Notice our stripes are going this way lined up with the pan. So the next flip, I'll need to turn it 90 degrees so we can make a crosshatch. Here we go on a crosshatch, and then we'll do a temperature test after this. Crosshatch. Look at that. Wow, that's beautiful. That fat kind of curled up there a little bit. If it curls up on you, you could make a very small incision right there on the side. Just a small incision on the side, not too much. Just enough to make it behave. And don't tell the person you're cooking for that you did that, and make that top secret stuff. And that's good, looking good. So now we will check that, because it looks like it is getting hot in a hurry. Look at that, that thing got hot in a hurry. It's done. That steak is done. So now we'll bring our butter pan back into the equation. There him is. That steak, boy, I tell you, by the time I would have gone out in the yard and fired up the grill and messed around with it, monkeyed with it, and made sure that the coals were just right, Make sure the kids didn't jump face first onto the grill and all that stuff. I already had this thing all cooked and ready to serve up to my sweet wife. So there's our butter. That's going to melt on the top. That's going to finish out right there at parts. And we're going to pull this off. Let's see which pattern is the best. Well, that's totally oval, so there's nothing to go wrong with that. We can make this, this looks like the head. We'll make that be the head of the cow and match that other head. And I'll make it like that. That'll be fine. Look at that butter foam up a little bit. Turn all burners off. All burners off. All stop. Everything stop. Stop smoking. What's the next step we got to do? Well, you got to have a way to serve this thing up to somebody without burning their fingers off. You ever been to a Mexican restaurant? They bring that, all that fajitas out on the cast iron, and they bring it out and they tell you, be careful, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. And it is hot. That stuff will burn you up. I'll do a little precision trimming here so no one knows about that little precision part. Put that right there. Now we're good to go on that. And here's our little handle that keeps me from having to touch that iron. You can buy these on Amazon. I'll give you the link to that at the bottom in the description portion if you want to see that. We're going to set that off like that. I may be getting just out of the view of the camera, so what we'll do, pull this in, put it in the middle of the stove like that so you can see it. And because this is wood, I can do this without burning my hand off. But look at that beautiful, beautiful carnivore meal right there. Now I need to get her a custom knife. We will not leave that sitting there long because it'll start smoking itself. Get her a custom little knife blade. There is a Cutco custom knife and a nice little heavy duty fork. Let's put it right there beside it. Okay, we've got that thing ready to serve up. So, if you have not tried the carnivore diet yet, this is definitely the way to go. Carnivore Diet with Ashley is the channel, and that is the way to go. This will help you lose weight. You won't have to walk around being hungry all the time. You do not have to eat ding-dongs and ho-hos and all that super expensive stuff at the store that is not even food anyway. So, hope you enjoy this nice video. And we'll see you back on the next one. Over and out for now.